Joining us now to talk about these slides is Professor Laura Sullivan-Green of San Jose State, who chairs the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Professor, thank you very much for joining us. So can you walk us through some of the increased risk for mudslides and landslides when we're seeing wave after wave and back-to-back heavy rain events like this?
We'll see an increased risk of landslides and mudslides when we have very saturated soils, which happens with all these storms back to back, as well as areas that have loose soil or debris, that have poor drainage, and that have poorly vegetation.
And during the past several years, we've dealt with wildfires. So what about those burn scars that can make matters worse when we see this heavy rain? What are we going to see in those areas?
When we have burn scars, we have no vegetation, which to help prevent the runoff, which leads to the mudslides, as well as the fact that the heat from the fire changes the composition of the soil. So the soil isn't able to absorb as much water as it normally would, which again leads to more runoff.
And so what can be done to prevent the worst from happening when it comes to mudslides, landslides, debris flow when these storms come through? If you're a resident at your house and you're in an area that's susceptible to mudslides, I mean, can you actually do anything?
The best chance is drainage, drainage, drainage. Make sure the water on your property has a safe place to go that doesn't lead to erosion, using sandbags to help prevent debris from getting momentum going downhill. And the most important thing is being proactive by making sure there's a lot of green space and areas for soil to absorb the water, as well as having vegetation, which helps stabilize the slope.
And not to put you on the spot, but what are your predictions for this next storm? And then after this storm, we have a series of another group of storms that are coming.
Yes. The storms that I think will potentially lead to more issues are these ones that are more intense. And this storm having the wind is going to create a greater issue for toppled trees and power lines, as well as a lot of rain in a short amount of time. So the best thing is to try to give that water some place to go.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Professor Laura Sullivan-Green. Thanks for joining us.